October 7, 2023. The world held its breath. Hamas launched an unprecedented attack on Israel. Thousands of rockets, brutal raids, over 1,200 Israelis dead. And with that, the Middle East descended into chaos once again. But was this truly the beginning? Or just another chapter in a much older war? This is the full story of land, power, betrayal, and the global chessboard of the 21st century. Before Israel, before Hamas, and even before Zionism, this land was a patchwork of empires: Ottoman, Roman, Persian. For centuries, Jews, Muslims, and Christians lived across this terrain. In the 1800s, Jewish communities began returning to Palestine, driven by rising anti-Semitism in Europe and a dream of returning home. But this was no empty land. It was home to hundreds of thousands of Arab Palestinians, two peoples, one sacred land. Conflict was brewing. In 1917, Britain issued the Balfour Declaration, supporting a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, while simultaneously promising independence to Arab leaders. It was a classic colonial double play. After World War I, the British ruled Palestine under a League of Nations mandate. Jewish immigration surged. So did Arab resentment. In 1947, the UN proposed a two-state solution. Jews accepted, Arabs rejected. War broke out. Israel declared independence in 1948. Neighboring Arab nations invaded. The new Jewish state survived, but over 700,000 Palestinians fled or were expelled, an event still remembered as the Nakba, or catastrophe. From 1948 to 1973, Israel fought repeated wars with its neighbors. In 1967, it seized Gaza, the West Bank, and East Jerusalem. It called it self-defense. The Arab world called it occupation. In the decades that followed, Palestinian resistance grew, and in 1987, during the First Intifada, a new group emerged: Hamas. Born out of Egypt's Muslim Brotherhood, Hamas combined militant resistance with religious ideology. It refused to recognize Israel and vowed to liberate all Palestinian land. Meanwhile, a revolution was brewing elsewhere. In 1979, Iran overthrew its US-backed Shah and became an Islamic republic. Ayatollah Khomeini declared the US the Great Satan and Israel the Little Satan. Iran began arming and funding anti-Israel militias: Hezbollah in Lebanon, Islamic Jihad, and Hamas in Gaza. Iran positioned itself as the protector of Palestinian resistance, using proxies to challenge Israeli and US influence without direct war. The United States quickly became Israel's staunchest ally. Billions in military aid, shared intelligence, a diplomatic shield in the UN. Critics say the US overlooked Israeli occupation and settlements. Supporters say it's defending a democracy under siege. But this alliance had consequences. Every time violence erupted, America was seen as complicit. This fueled anti-American sentiment across the Arab and Muslim world, and became part of the rhetoric used by groups like Al-Qaeda and ISIS. In 2020, under President Trump, the Abraham Accords were signed. UAE, Bahrain, Morocco, and Sudan normalized relations with Israel. Peace was breaking out, but not with the Palestinians. Iran saw this as betrayal. It feared isolation. It strengthened its ties with proxies, particularly Hamas and Hezbollah. The stage was being set for a showdown. Then came October 7th, 2023. Hamas crossed into Israel, killing civilians and soldiers alike. It shocked the world. Israel declared war. Thousands died in Gaza under retaliatory airstrikes. Iran denied direct involvement, but the weapons, the funding, the ideology, all pointed back to Tehran. In early 2024, the U.S. carried out strikes on Iranian proxy targets in Syria and Iraq after attacks on its bases. Iran responded. The region edged closer to a full-blown war. In mid-2025, a fragile ceasefire was brokered, with pressure from Qatar, Egypt, and the U.S. But peace remains elusive. The blockade on Gaza continues. Iran and Israel exchange cyber attacks and covert strikes. American troops remain stationed across the region, and the question still echoes: can a land so sacred to so many ever find peace? This isn't just a story of war. It's a story of broken promises, forgotten people, and global power games. History didn't start in 2023 or 1948. It started centuries ago, and it lives on in every rocket, every speech, every child born under occupation. If this conflict makes you wonder whether endless war is our only future, pause and ask, what does peace even look like? How do we get there? Because behind every strike and counterstrike are real people. Children, families, futures, shattered by history repeating itself. So share this story, not to take sides, but to remind the world, peace isn't weakness. Understanding isn't surrender. It starts with questions, not weapons. And maybe, just maybe, it starts with us.